Before we get into today's video, we have to talk about our sponsor G2A.com. Are you a big gamer or just starting out or want to get a gift for your friend who, I don't know, loves games? Well, this is the place to go. They have massive deals on computer and video games, accessories, gaming hardware, like what else could you want? You name it, they've got it. Some even as much as 90% off, which is honestly amazing. So don't snooze on this site. But now on to today's video. From strange lights to flying corpses, today we count down our list of top 10 mysterious entities encountered by astronauts. Ooh, we love astronauts. Welcome back, Top 10 fam. I'm your host, Raechel Fisher, and you know I'm stoked for this list. Love some space alien stuff. It's my jam. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, strange lights. Liwei was a commander of the ISS for 6.5 months in 2005, and finally opened up about some strange sights he saw. While installing 2 navigation antennas 230 miles above Earth, traveling at 17,000 miles an hour, something was out of the ordinary. Chow told the Huffington Post, and I quote, "I saw some lights that seemed to be in a line and it was almost like an upside down check mark, and I saw them fly by and thought it was awfully strange," unquote. However, despite this experience, Chow still remains skeptical that we have been visited by extraterrestrials. He continues, and I quote, "I'm skeptical of claims that we've been visited by aliens from another planet or dimension, but I don't rule it out 100%. I have an open mind and I do believe there's other life in the universe. If there is life out there that's so much more advanced than we are, and they know either how to travel great distances in short amounts of time, or they're able to come from a parallel universe into ours, why don't they just come out and show themselves?" Unquote. That remains one of the biggest questions in the scientific community, and a lot of us at Most Amazing, we are also very confused. If the likelihood is so high, where the heck is everybody? Number 9, space serpent. With the amount of space junk that orbits planet Earth, it's no surprise the first explanation for any UFO is a broken satellite or debris from another rocket launch. When Dr. Story Musgrave saw an 8-foot-long white snake floating in space, his first thought was that it was some kind of broken tubing. According to an interview with Omni Mag, Musgrave said, and I quote, "On 2 flights I've seen and photographed what I call the snake, like a 7-foot eel swimming out there. It may be an uncritical rubber seal from the main engines. In 0G it's totally free to maneuver and it has its own internal waves like it's swimming. All this debris is white, reflecting sunlight, or you don't see it. Cruising along with you at your velocity, it's still got its own rotation. At 0G things have an incredible freedom. It's an extraordinary ballet," unquote. But as to what it actually is remains to be confirmed. Yes, it could be the tubing, but who knows. But Musgrave fully believes that there are civilizations much more advanced than us out there and seeks to make contact with them even while retired. Number 8, Yang Liwei. Do you have that friend that likes to remind everyone while watching like insert space film here that there's no sound in space, so how can we hear the explosion? Everybody's got that friend. Yeah, well, begrudgingly, they're right. There is no sound in space because it is a vacuum. So when Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei heard a strange knocking on the shuttle he was in, you can understand why he would be confused. Yang Liwei was the first man to be sent to space via the Chinese space program, but he's not the only one to have heard the sound. From 2005 to 2008, other Chinese astronauts have also reported hearing similar sounds and have no idea what the specific cause is. Maybe it's something to do with the mechanics of their ship. Who knows? The leading theory is actually to do with the sound as a result of a decreasing air pressure that changes the structure of the spacecraft. So first it was aliens, now it's actual science. Why not both? Number 7, a little space music. The precursor to the Apollo 11 moon landing was of course the Apollo 10, launched in May 1969. It was a test run in which they sent 2 men up to space in a command module and dropped down to 10 miles above the moon. A pretty high stakes mission overshadowed by the success of the 11 landing. But something that stood out was a strange whistling sound, kind of like weird space music, like exactly how you'd imagine it. They heard it over their headphones and their first impression was that this strange music was sent from ETs trying to phone home, but alas, some hope was shattered. The whistling sound could be explained as interference between VHF radios, so alas, not the explanation we wanted. But hey, imagine hearing that on a test mission. Pretty eerie. Number 6, an unidentified flying UFO. What? It's just a matter of time before actual UFOs break the mold as to what we think they look like. Saucer-like with a bubble on top. Yeah, that stuff is cliche. James McDivitt and Ed White were the first to realize this when they saw one of the strangest things below them. While flying over Hawaii in June 1965, he spotted a strangely shaped ship approaching the Gemini 4. According to James, and I quote, "It had a rather definite form, a cylindrical object that was white and had a long arm stuck out to the side, unquote. So kind of like a flying cigar. When he got back to Earth, he was eager to see what he had shot to get a closer look, but when he got there, he was shown an entirely different section of film. He said it was whited out and that it looked nothing like what he'd seen. There was also a hole poked through the film. Number 5, corpse in the sky. This next one actually is definitely not alien, but it is really sad. So before humans went to space, they had to test it on animals, which is not great. Chimpanzees, dogs, cats, and even fruit flies, right? Many didn't survive, of course, because of the nature of trial and error. The Albert project was one of the most prolific projects and was made of the first astronauts on Earth, mainly and also just exclusively chimps named Albert. As many of them did not make it back safely, some of their ships even split apart. Their corpses actually circle the orbit of Earth. On top of that, some human beings have passed whilst in space, and any remains that were not recovered also circle the Earth. So despite not being alien or unknown, it is pretty creepy to be flying within a floating cemetery. Number 4, space bugs. In previous videos, I think I gushed about the fairy tale romance between astronaut John Glenn and his wife Annie. It's super cute, but I'll leave that for another time. One of the first astronauts, John Glenn, saw something astounding in space while orbiting our planet in 1962. While soaring over Australia, shock almost took him over as he saw something strange fluttering before him. Tiny little lights like tiny fireflies almost danced around the Friendship 7 capsule. When he tapped on the window though, they flew off just like insects would. NASA was at first concerned because they thought that it was a result of the heat shield, that the little lights were fragments burning up, but that didn't check out. The next explanation they prepared was that they were actually very tiny ice particles, but up until his death in 2016, Glenn was never really fully sold on the explanation. He always held on to the idea that they were something friendly or curious that visited him. Number 3, a brilliant flash of light. On May 5th, 1981, a Russian astronaut experienced a strange encounter and still can't explain it. He couldn't pass it off as space debris or a satellite because it actually interacted with him. At 6 p.m. that night, as he was flying over South Africa, a strangely shaped ship was flying alongside his ship. It hovered there watching him and then let out a small explosion followed by a second. After the second explosion, another craft appeared suddenly. But even stranger, there was a third flash, after which both crafts disappeared. The astronaut to this day has no explanation for what he saw. He reported that, and I quote, "The object resembled a boom. I saw it become transparent as if it had a body inside. At the other end I saw something that looked like a gas discharge, like a jet object," unquote. The body inside points to something very strange indeed, but just what we will have to wait to find out, because maybe one day whoever it was will come and visit us and have coffee. Number 2, the weather balloon. I wonder if astronauts ever feel like they aren't doing enough, or if they're not living life to the fullest, you know? Like, I mean, it's pretty hard to say you wasted your life on the couch when you've just, you know, gone to space. Donald Slayton grabbed life by the horns and accomplished many incredible feats within his working life. But one discovery continues to stump him to this day, and it happened before he was even in space yet. In 1951, Slayton was testing a P-51 fighter and was flying at 10,000 feet when something caught his eye. It looked like a weather balloon, but at the same time unlike any weather balloon he'd ever seen. It was moving really fast as if it was being accelerated by something. Then, almost as if it saw him coming, the object pulled a quick 45-degree turn and sped away. And last but not least, they're watching us in our number 1 spot. I think the thing that freaks me out about the argument that aliens are already here is that they're just like chilling, watching us, waiting for whatever they're looking for, I guess. What are you waiting for? What are we ready for? I don't know. If you believe the moon landing hoax, then you may find this fact impossible to believe, so it's up to you. According to history, Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon. Well, the first human man. Human thing, human person, human being. Anyways, NASA lost transmission for apparently 2 minutes, but then a secret message was sent to the space station. Allegedly, Armstrong was heard saying, "These babies were huge, sir, enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecrafts out here, lined up on the far side of the crater's edge. They're on the moon, watching us," unquote. Apparently, Armstrong saw lights peeking out of one of the craters. When they asked for more detail, however, the transmission went dead for a full minute. Anyways guys, that was our video. Oh. Anyways guys, that was our top 10 video. You know what to do. If you like this video, do it. What should they do, Chris?
Like it, subscribe, comments.
Yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much it. Awesome. Anyways, thank you so much from Chris and I. I've been your host, Raechel Fisher, and until next time, take care. It's like 30,000 degrees. Christopher, I'm so sorry.